Shut up. Shut up. Rachel, shut up.
Yeah. Actually,
Rachel, shut up. Because she wrote that shit. You wrote that.
Girl, I know. She was in the writing room and was like...
Well, you guys, we are finally back. And
Yay.
Nicole, what did we miss? Not a thing, right? Nothing happened in the month we were gone.
We left and we thought like, oh, it's going to be a quiet month. We'll come back when filming, quote unquote, starts. And then it felt like Hudson and Connor and Heated Rivalry were like in the news or something. Yeah, every week is crazy. So I feel like, I don't even know if we're going to hit everything, but obviously Hudson and Connor have been filming.
Connor has been working nonstop. We had 2 Paris visits. Hudson right now is in Korea.
Oh, yeah, he's in Korea right now. And then we had the vinyl release party. I didn't get to go to because I live in Europe, but you went, right?
I went to a vinyl release party. It was in Annapolis, so like a county outside of Baltimore. So much fun. Everyone was so hyped. They had trivia there, and our team won. Our team.
I was going to ask, did you win?
We did. So it was divided between Team Shane and Team Ilya. I was, I'm a Shane defender, so I was Team Shane, and we won. We won trivia, as you do. Thank you. Listen.
Well, unfortunately, we did not have a party in Europe, but I did get my vinyl in. And
have you spun it? Have you listened to it?
So I haven't spun it, but I have the poster up on my fridge and the collector cards. And I looked at, obviously, I got the ice, what is it? The Icy Inferno one, like the clear one. And it's so cool that they just like etched, like literally you could tell someone just like sat there with something and etched it because it's in terrible writing. But, it has like the clear, whatever, 1221 and like knock or whatever. It's just like, it's a really cool nod to fans that they did that, obviously. So.
And creating a vinyl takes like a lot of time and a lot of work. Like it's not an easy process. Yeah, it's not an easy process.
What's crazy about this show is that, and shout out to Peter, because it's like, he probably was just creating these songs and then was like, all right, bye. And then Jacob's like, sorry, hey, these are like the biggest songs on television. I need you to create a vinyl and like a whole album. So do you remember when it came out that they were like, okay, the whole album's coming out? And we're like, oh my God. And it took time, like you said, because it's like, it wasn't meant to be this whole thing. So
exactly. Yeah. And that's with any artist. But it's crazy. When you talk about Peter and Jacob, I keep on thinking about when Jacob was telling Peter, and I need these songs tomorrow. Gave Peter no time. And he created like masterpieces. I'm like, the talent of this man. Like Jacob knows how to find talented people.
It's so nice. I love that people who have just fallen under the radar are becoming famous and just having life-changing moments like Peter in this. So that's cool. You got to go to the vinyl party. Very busy summer. Heated Rivalry is just like not going away.
to be honest, so I thought it would be quiet. I honestly thought the only news we would get is maybe casting, which we still haven't gotten yet. But I'm like, it's summer, it's July. People are going to be out vacation, Euro summer.
Same.
Hudson just had his Euro summer. But no.
Jam-packed.
Everywhere
doing everything. Him and his team. It's crazy.
Period. As you should.
Well, at least you and I got a little bit of rest.
We did. It was much needed. We're rejuvenated. We're ready to be back. We're happy to be back. And
so excited to be back. I'll be honest. I kind of missed it. Like, I didn't miss like the editing and all the behind the scenes, but I miss like we used to like do this almost weekly, like 2 shows weekly, filming this, and so I did kind of miss like talking about the show with you a little bit.
Of course, me too. Because like, I mean, we have a good time. We like get to talk about the show that we love, and also have a key and a half.
Yeah,
in the background.
Key.
a good key. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm excited for this crop of episodes that we have coming up. We have some really fun episodes we think you guys will love. But
same.
This one today We are talking about the long game because we are so excited for season 2. Can't wait till we get casting announcements. But until then, this episode is going to be spoiler heavy because we are getting into the long game and talking about the scenes that we undoubtedly 100% think Jacob will include in season 2. Like, we know Jacob is a master of, manipulating, elevating some of the text and making sure that the writing is tip top and like he's added some great additions. But I think these scenes that we have, Nicole, go without saying that they will definitely be in season 2. Unless he wants to riot. Unless he wants to riot in the fandom, and we know how this fandom can get.
No. I absolutely think the scenes we're going to talk about, so these are going to kind of be our top 5 scenes that we think are guaranteed to be in it that we can't wait to see. And it's exciting because we've been wanting to talk about the long game for a very long time on this podcast. And so, yeah, if you haven't read the long game, I would just
What are you doing?
peace out.
First off, what are you doing?
Yeah, first off,
what you doing though?
but first off, like, it's been a long time, and y'all, you need to read it so that we can come on. I understand, like, not wanting to know everything, but just know that Jacob is still going to shock and surprise us the way that he did in season 1, even though we, a lot of us have read the Heat of Rivalry before it ended.
Yep.
And it's also worth noting that we're doing a 3-part series on the long game. Because there's just too much. The same way that we're all like, how's he going to fit everything in season 2? It's like we could not fit all of our thoughts and feelings about the long game in one podcast episode. So if you don't see a scene, don't think it's like we're never going to talk about it. We're going to come back to it. We have certain themes and things we're going to discuss. We're not going to spoil it here. But just know,
just enjoy
the long game is going to be long gaming.
It's going to be long gaming. Just enjoy the ride. No one could have foretold me that a book that's like only 400 pages, we would be able to make 3 podcasts. We probably could do more, but we're starting off with 3 because there is just, the long game is jam-packed. Like, for all the people who read Heat of Rivalry and was like, this is amazing. When you get into the long game, it's an experience. And so let's go through this experience, Nicole. Let's start. Oh my God, it feels so nostalgic to be saying this again. What do we have kicking us off in the number 5 ranked spot?
Okay. Number 5, the scene that we believe we're getting and that we hope and can't wait to get is the proposal between Shane and Ilya. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I don't see a lot of people talking about this, is why the proposal happened when it did. Because a lot of times people point back to the plane incident, right? Mm-hmm. And they see it as a plot device to get us to this point where Shane and Ilya kind of progress the relationship. Yeah. But the scene, and I'm going to be referencing my notes a lot because I went in like Tyra, we kind of revisited the long game. And so the scene that people don't talk about a lot that I think was like the catalyst for this is the conversation that happens right before with JJ. Where JJ is talking about how moved Shane was by this plane incident, right? And that it caused him to notice that, like, hey, I think you have unrequited feelings for this straight man, Ilya, which is funny. And I think without realizing it, that conversation, like, I wrote down, that conversation just, like, put things into perspective for Shane. That one, he is going to spend the next 10 years of his life lying to his friend because JJ in this conversation is like, hey, I met this guy. He's a trainer. He's perfect for you. He loves health and fitness like you. Correct. And it's like, okay, Shane is thinking to myself, am I going to have to spend the next 10 years of my life acting like I don't want to date anybody or be set up? Or I'm not interested? Am I going to have to lie to one of my best friends for the next decade when I know what I want, right?
Yes. Yes.
And he says this in the book on page 266. Sorry, we have the book. Tyra showed her. Yeah, we have notes. So on page 266, he says, he knew exactly what he wanted. He wanted to reach the other side. He wanted that life together, not in 10 years, but now, because 10 years suddenly seemed like an impossible wait. And I just
Mm-hmm.
thought that last line really showed that, like, this conversation with JJ was the thing that was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
This is too painful. It's not realistic, and I don't want to. And yes, the plane incident made me realize maybe life is short, but this moment, because Shane, as you know, as we all know, he likes to be honest. He doesn't like to
Yes.
lie. And the
Yes.
one thing in his life that he's been lying about for consistently is his love and his relationship to Ilya. And it got to a
Mm-hmm.
point where he was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And so
Yeah.
I think this conversation played more into the proposal, because it happens literally 48 hours later,
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
than anything else that happened. And people really don't talk about that this motivated him in that way, I guess.
They don't. And it's so interesting because what I love about that scene and what you just talked about is that, you know, he's been in this relationship with Ilya for a long time at this point, and every single change that Shane has made as a person, Ilya has contributed to, because he's
Mm.
been the most important
Mhm.
person in his life. And I don't think that's
Mhm.
highlighted enough in the text as we read the book, and maybe it's not something that you know, as important as should be highlighted, but Shane is more confident. He is more open. Like, these are all things that Ilya has directly contributed to. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, a
Mhm.
couple like lines of his players, like maybe JJ or another player on his team being like, oh, you know, Shane is different in this way or that way, because he is. And it's like, you don't want to deny all of the good things in your life, the most
Mm.
important thing in your life. Um, you don't
Mhm.
want to keep denying that. And then you have that compounded with the DM that he gets. And just the DM, we all
Mm.
know, is amazing. Like, I am thinking of you in every memory,
Mm.
like always in my heart forever, is what Ilya writes to him. And I just thought in the moment being Shane and reading that and knowing that, you know, Ilya is in this impossible situation. He is staring down the face of his own doom, his own fear. But he swallows all of that down to make sure that he tells the most important person in his life how important he is to him and how important
Mhm.
he has been to him. And
Mhm.
that compounded with like JJ, you know, trying to him up and all of this, like, yeah, these are all catalysts to make him be like, all of that other stuff doesn't matter anymore. Like, and
None of it.
honestly, never did. Never
Yeah,
mattered.
thank you.
Never
It
mattered.
never did to that degree, right? Where it's
Exactly.
like we're putting it over our
Mhm.
own thoughts and feelings and
Yes.
what we
Yes.
deserve,
What will we
right?
deserve? Right. He has valid concerns. Being
Oh,
this high profile
absolutely.
player, like, no one is diminishing that. His concerns are very valid, but
The
also
homophobia of it all. That's
oh my
like,
God, the homophobia, the commissioner who just is, you know, sort of
we'll get there.
upholding like a rapist and making, but whatever. We will
Mhm.
get there.
Mhm.
But yeah, but it's like none of that matters and it pales in comparison to what I almost lost.
Yes.
Because Shane says, like, you know,
Mhm.
had you died, it would have been like I died as well.
Mhm.
Which is just
And
such a beautiful sentiment.
what's interesting is that how quickly it, like, so, and Shane, or Hudson Williams has talked about this, that Shane's not a
Mm-hmm.
planner, but when it comes to Ilya, he is. And
Yeah.
what's really interesting about this proposal is that the plane incident happens, they have their conversation, he talks to JJ, and literally 48 in between proposing and the conversation with JJ, he goes ring shopping. He finds a ring. He reads up on the Russian tradition of proposing. He buys these fake candles. He sets up this whole proposal. Like, this is all happening
Mm-hmm.
very quickly. And it's like one of the first times you're seeing Shane with Ilya, there not being a plan, right? Like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
he's going fully off his emotion and his feelings, and like something that he's never been afforded and able to do in their relationship the past, you know, oh,
Yeah.
13 years of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what makes the proposal even just like spontaneous, but even just beautiful, more, not more beautiful, but just like it's one of the few times, maybe the first time, that we're seeing where it's like, this is what Shane and Ilya should or would be doing if they didn't have the weight of the rest of the world on them.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
you
Would have
know,
been
and
done it like years ago. That's
years
the thing.
ago.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that's so sad too, because it's like they don't have any delusions about what they are to each other and what this relationship is. This is forever. This has been
Mm-hmm.
cemented since the cottage. But it's
Mm-hmm.
the world that makes it
Mm-hmm.
difficult. And him overcoming that fear of what the world's expectations of him are and what their reception would be. And he's just like, all of that, who the fuck cares? Who cares when the love of my life was almost gone? Like,
And not to mention almost gone, but because their relationship is a secret, the tragedy of it is he wouldn't be able to do any of the things that a
couldn't mourn.
husband or a
Yeah.
loved one could be. He couldn't mourn publicly. He couldn't
Yeah.
be there as like the love of Ilya's life, which he was. And
Mm.
it's just like
Mm-hmm.
that heaviness and that the sadness of that alone is like, I don't ever want that to be a part of our story or something that
Yeah.
could be real, but it was very close to being that.
Oh, that made me so sad. The like
No, there.
grief, the grief of like not being able to, especially someone who you share life
Mm,
with and live life with, not being able to be the representation of that person when a tragedy strikes, when you 100% will absolutely know their wishes and their wants because you are the closest person in their life. Oh my God, that's
that's
so
what I'm
sad.
saying.
That's so
That's
sad.
no, it's so sad. Okay, let's get to the proposal because but we needed to do the backstory because the proposal didn't happen in isolation, right? Like it
Right.
was a buildup of a lot of these moments. The proposal. So okay, I went back and read what Shane said, and a line that stuck out to me is when Shane says on page 268, he says, I don't have a plan for anything beyond this, but I know what I want. There's nothing in my life that matters to me more than you, Ilya.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is like such a beautiful callback to what we saw in season one's episode where Ilya asks, like, you know, you really think that far ahead, Hollander? And he's like, I do, with us. And I think the one thing is just like Ilya, or the thing I wrote down is like Shane never planned for Ilya, right? Like Ilya is probably Shane's biggest surprise in life. Shane
Yeah.
comes from a very disciplined, like he knew what was happening when he was 10. He probably knew what life could look like at 17, 18. And
Right.
Ilya came in and just surprised him. And I just said, like, Shane never planned for Ilya, but he became a planner for Ilya. Like
Yeah.
he finally found something in life that was worth planning for in a way
Yeah.
because hockey already gave him, this is your schedule and everything on a platter. You follow this, you'll become the Shane Hollander, right? Like his
Mm-hmm.
parents probably raised him with a discipline and a schedule, and like there was probably not a lot that was in his control. And so
Yeah.
here comes this relationship that means so much to him, and so much so that he's willing to risk safety and maybe comfort for in order to pursue. And I
Yeah.
felt like that was just such an interesting line to include in the proposal because like this may be the first time for Shane where he's like, I actually don't know what's coming up for us. I've usually planned this out. I know when we're meeting. I know we're going to do this
Mm-hmm.
charity. I know like we're going to retire. This is going to happen. He doesn't have that future, but he knows desperately like the one thing is, and he says this, it's like, I will always choose you. And this is
Exactly.
him doing that. And
Yeah. I will
so
always, I choose him, as we'll talk about in the next one.
we
But
will.
yeah, you brought up so many things because I'm just like, you can really see how their insecurities mirror each other
Mm,
because
mm,
for Shane, much like Ilya, to your point, like Ilya is an outlier. He's a variable that Shane didn't account for. And so everything that he's worked towards, everything in his professional career that he's done and achieved, that makes sense to him. And the
mhm,
risk of like sacrificing that for someone who you are unsure feels the same way about you that you do as them. Because I do think they share that
mhm,
insecurity where it's forever for me, but I don't know if it's forever for you. I don't know if I can count on your love sustaining and being everlasting as I can this career.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's just an interesting way that they have to navigate getting over that and getting through that, being like, you know, even if 50 years down the road you no longer want to be with me, I'm going to choose you in this moment. I'm going to choose you every day. I'm going to forget everything that happened before this. I'm going to forget, you know, all my fears and insecurities and just actively choose you. And it's so beautiful because in the book, it like Ilya does the same thing. They mirror each other so well. Like
they do.
In this book, it's crazy.
Well, a couple things I have to talk about before we move on is one, this was an obvious callback to the first book where Ilya was halfway joke. I know this is Tyra's like thing, but I have to bring it up where, you know, he talked about how he would propose to Shane at the cottage and with the candles and getting down on one knee. And that is exactly like, this is 3.5 years later. And here's Shane doing the exact same thing. And you have the inner monologue of Ilya realizing it at that moment that like, wait, this is exactly what I said. And it's just like they always the thing that is just I think stands out so much with them is that there's never just fleeting conversations with them. Their moments together are so precious and mean so much that they remember everything about these like larger, you know, discussions or just like romantic sentiments or whatever it is. And it's like, it was never brought up again, but Shane had that in the back of his mind that like, this is how you propose. And then like, I'm going to do this. I want to show him that like, I remember this
shared history that we have, this shared history. I think that's a great thing that Rachel does is sort of bring up these moments of shared history where if you're someone who's read the books, you're just like, oh yeah, right. These people have known each other since they were kids. Like, you know, sometimes like you feel like, since kids, like they deeply know each other, like on many different levels. And this is one of them. And like, just that scene alone, because Shane's response to Ilya making a joke about him proposing and I'll do it for a green card and you'll do it because you're a helpful guy. And Shane being like, no, I'll do it because I'll still be madly in love with you. And it's like, and
wait, that's like the perfect mirror. Wait, because that is the perfect mirror to when Ilya jokes and is like, is this, you're doing this, is it because I died? And then Shane comes back with the sentimental and says, no, it's because I almost died. Shane Hollander!
Shut up. Rachel, shut up.
Show me to me, please. Send it to me, Rachel.
It was literally
Shane Hollander!
Shut up. Rachel, shut up.
Yeah. Actually,
Rachel, shut up. Because she wrote that shit. You wrote that.
Girl, I know. She was in the writing room and was like, and you know what? Deserved.
You
Listen,
did that. I wonder if Rachel ever used those words on her partner, because if I was a writer, I would. Like,
I would be like, I did it to you first. This is just a copy. The other crazy thing that I thought about their proposal was the fact that it was sweet, but also, why is he just learning about this man's middle name?
And why did you go to Wikipedia?
These are men. There's always moments where Shane and Ilya remind me they are men. And like, I know that listen, I'm also very aware and I take very seriously that like, they are just learning each other throughout the years after being in secrecy and, you know, just hookups for 10 years. I truly understand that they are just learning a lot about each other, but it has been 3.5 years of a serious relationship. And he went to the worldwide Beyonce web to find Ilya's middle name. That is crazy.
You know what? Another kudos to Rachel as a writer, because she does write men well. Like, as a woman reading this, you're like, men would do that.
I said, yeah. Because middle names are details. You don't need middle names.
Middle names are
those
details. And
men don't
men at
do
high
details.
levels. That's I don't
Yeah. He
I don't
said
get granular
Ilya
with things.
Rozanoff. Ilya Rozanoff, I got that. I'm good.
He probably said, do they have middle names in Russia? Russia. His middle name's common there?
And it's just so funny because Ilya's like, you know my middle name? Babe, y'all are in a long-term relationship.
Y'all live together all summer, every summer, since you've been together since the cottage. And you don't know that man's middle name?
I am dead.
We haven't found out Shane's middle name yet, have we?
I don't think
so. Unrivaled. Need that to happen.
I need Unrivaled to bring that up. But anyway, long story short, this was a beautiful proposal. It was very Shane and Ilya of them. And I just love that it was the first thing, like Shane knew he had to do it because this proposal happened at like 2 p.m. in the middle of the day. So he was like, I don't want us to talk. I don't want to see. I don't want anything. I need this to happen. And
it's when the Ilya and him really came out where he's just like, I think I'll die if I don't ask you to marry me. Like, I can't wait another minute.
And it's the first time they'd seen each other in like 3 weeks, right? So it was like there was a situation where they could be having a serious talk and things. This proposal may not happen. And so in a way, it's like, I get it. As long as we have this grounded and our love, we agree is eternal and forever.
Yeah. The
conversations and the hard times, we can deal with that because that's what this symbolizes. And so I kind of like that this happened, I guess, not at like the last page of the book.
Oh, so God, yeah. We were riot.
So much. Okay. Proposal we love. The one thing one last thing I wanted to bring up because I know Tyra, I don't know, when I read this, it reminded me of our Heated Rivalry Book 1 episode because they brought back Yours and Mine. And I said, is Jacob ever going to give us that? Jacob Tierney, are we going to get it? Are we going to get it?
Please.
It's in the text. It's in the text, babe.
We have time for it. We have time for it. In these 6 episodes next season, we have time for it.
Time for it. Okay, ready? Ready to time me how long it takes me to say yours and mine. Ready? Okay. Yours.
1,000.
Mine.
1,000. Exactly.
We have time. We have time. We can insert this. Jacob, we can insert this.
Baby, we love you, Jacob.
Yeah, we do.
But
let me not play myself. But also, yours, mine are 2 syllables.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So moving on to number 4. What is our number 4 scene, Tyra?
Okay, our number 4 scene that we know good Sir Jacob Tierney will definitely include, and I can't wait to see who this casting will be anyway, is Shane's face-off with the commissioner. Now,
girl,
this whole section of the book, like a couple of chapters before and leading up to this chapter where we have the confrontation, is a lot happens, and we'll talk about in later episodes of the podcast. But my God, the I choose him moment, Nicole. I don't know about you, but when I read that, I think I stood up and clapped. I think I honestly stood up and clapped because it was the reckoning, girl. It was the reckoning that needed to happen, but also it was the completion of Shane's hero's journey.
Yes,
like within this book.
Yes,
this is his hero's arc where he is finally taking full control and autonomy over his life and his career, and he is staring down the power that be, the commissioner of the fucking league, and saying, listen, bitch, I choose him. And
who are you?
I love the lead up to it because it's so good. I just have to read you guys a section of this because it's amazing. And it starts with the commissioner. And it says, Cromwell leaned forward, both elbows on the large table between them. Your actions have put me in a very difficult situation. On the one hand, your behavior is completely unacceptable and absolutely cannot be allowed. On the other, you're 2 of the biggest stars in the league and the playoffs are about to start. Can't be allowed, Shane asked quietly. It's the can't be allowed. During that whole little diatribe that he is talking about.
That's what he picked out.
That's what he picked up. This can't be allowed. And that goes through when you're someone, I'm sure, who Shane has had to come out and tell his friends and family that he's gay, and just thinking about the connotation of what being gay means in the league, what being gay means in society, and thinking about that can't be allowed. Being gay can't be allowed. Loving Ilya can't be allowed. So the parts of myself that I love and cherish the most can't be allowed. I can't claim them in order to be a participant in this thing that I have worked my whole life for and given so much to.
Hello.
Like, the absolute audacity of that.
It's so interesting you said that, because and I'm trying to scroll through my notes because I'm like, girl, because part of what you just said is part of what makes this, people latch on to his line, like, I choose him, come on, Ilya, or whatever. Yeah. But to your point, it is the parts before it. I find this scene to be, like you said, the hero's arc. It's like, it does so much for Shane's character, because if you're on the same page, if you're reading with us on page 364 or at the beginning of chapter 35, where, above what Tyra just read, where Crow says, there are a few things in life that I absolutely can't stand. One thing I hate is surprises. Another is disloyalty, and another is liars. And what I find interesting about that, and Ilya, kudos, because he's like, and homosexual. Yeah, you're homophobic as AF. But you're homophobic. Sorry, you're homosexual. You're homophobic. But what I find interesting about this is that Roger Crow, 2 of the 3 things that he says he can't stand, disloyalty, he's being incredibly disloyal to Shane and Ilya. But particularly, and he's asking Shane and Ilya to lie, right? Yeah. He's asking them to, like, forgo their love and their relationship. But what's interesting, exactly. What's interesting is that Shane, this whole chapter is about Shane, or this whole moment is about Shane choosing Ilya over hockey. But we know that Shane has already chosen Ilya over hockey for years. Every time he's gone back to Ilya, every time he's stayed, every time he's created a plan for retirement and then to be together and then proposing, he has chosen Ilya time and time again. Crow is just the first person who's making him say it out loud in a mixed company, right? And so I think what's interesting is that Shane, all of the fears and things that have built up from this story are no longer present in this chapter, because he's the one saying, like what you just said, right? He's like, can't be allowed, or this statement isn't truthful, or we are like, are you threatening me, basically saying you're going to take the league from me? And it's like, I love that
said, I will sue your ass.
Correct. Like, who are you?
I will sue you. We will sue your ass.
Who do you think you are? And so it's like, but what's so interesting is the thing that I love that Rachel did in this moment is that this was the perfect art from chapter 22 and 23, where you see that, like, the main fear that Ilya's always had, and the like center of their argument is like, would Shane really ever choose Ilya over hockey? We know he would, but Ilya does not have that knowledge. And so this is just like a perfect kind of like the most highest of highest states of, like, you're looking at the commissioner of hockey looking straight in Shane's face and saying, you literally would not play in this league if you decide you want to continue with whatever this is. Yeah. And Shane looks him dead in the face and says, I choose my man.
I choose him. I choose him. And also, in addition, I choose myself. Because
correct, and I choose me. And
the hero's arc, exactly. I choose to love myself fully, and not the parts of myself that are easy to love. The jock, the hockey player, the successful hockey player, the MLH Cup winner. Those parts that are easy to love, but I'm choosing to love the queer part of myself, the part that loves and wants to be a man with a man, the part that wants to be with a man out loud. I'm choosing every single facet of my being and choosing that as well. Yes. And I'm like, that is why it's a hero's arc. Like, that's
And
why
it's
it's a hero's
so
journey. And
good.
it's so good. Like, that moment where you can reclaim all of your power back from this thing. And thinking to myself, like, we've seen this in different iterations for Shane. We've seen it in Heat of Rivalry, where he has finally could come out to Rose and then really stepped into his bravery in that moment. And this is just another iteration of that, but
So
like
brave.
more fully, because I'm no longer going to be beholden and care about anyone else's expectations or thoughts, because my
Yes.
life is
And
the way I want it to be.
to your point about him choosing me, I wrote down something that I'm like 1,000% aligned. I said, for so long, his identity has been built around being the greatest hockey player in the world. And Crow revealed in this moment that the league's loyalty only goes one way.
Yeah.
That whole, arc that he had built for himself, it doesn't matter as much to him when he sees kind of like that's the only part of himself, to your point, that is like revered and loved by these people that he's held in such high regard pretty much his entire life. And so the moment that Shane refuses to lie, they were willing to throw all that away, right?
Yeah.
Like, Shane means nothing to Crow after that. Like, he's like,
Nothing.
all right, well, you can get up out of here. And it's like,
nothing.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, that is the biggest eye-opener of eye-openers for him, right? Like, who knows? I have no idea, but Crow, let's just say, could have been the league commissioner when Shane was a teenager. And so this is someone he may have been, before he got to know him. Like,
right.
I'm not looking up to him, but it's like someone that means a lot to him because he knows he wants to be in the league. And
absolutely. And then that's like that stark reality when you realize as an athlete the commodification of bodies, and you are just a body. You
just
are
a body
nothing
for like 15
else beyond
years.
that. You're nothing else beyond that to the people, the higher up that be, right? You are just as much output as you can put out. Like, that's your worth. That's how it's measured. And all of the other things. And I think that we see this as the book goes on. All of the other things that Shane has learned to appreciate about himself are things that are disregarded by the commissioner. Like, these are things that Shane had a hard time accepting in Heat of Rivalry, these things about himself. And these are things that we see through this book that he's come to accept and he's come to love, and he's come to really like hold on to those. And those are the things that, are not allowed in Chrome's words.
And to go back to something you said, I don't know if it was, I think it was in the number 5, but when you said like Ilya, his relationship with Ilya has like helped him in terms of like not gaining a confidence, but has helped in that regard a little bit.
Yeah.
It's worth noting in this scene that right before this, the trophy room scene happens. And we're not going to discuss that in full detail, but earlier in the book, he has a conversation with Crow, and going into this one, he's in a totally different mindset, right? Because Ilya reminds him that, like, I'm sorry, the league isn't you, you're the league. Like, you are the Shane Hollander with or without these little people. And so he's going in this with, like, a confidence and a reassurance about who he is. That maybe, wouldn't have happened if this scene happened 20 chapters ago.
Exactly. Ilya said, do what the fuck you want to do. And I stand by that. Yeah, Shane, do whatever the fuck you want to do because you've earned it. You've earned it.
These are 3 Stanley Cups or whatever we call them.
Count them. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, count them. And also, I thought near the end where Ilya is in his head and they're like making out in the elevator and he's just so giddy, that Ilya is talking about like he would never obviously ask for this. And on page 366, he even talks about like, Ilya didn't want to hide anymore, but the playoffs were about to start, and he couldn't honestly blame Shane if he chose this easy cover-up, which was the league statement they wanted to put out. Just to make the drama die down for a little. Ilya would fucking hate it, but he'd agree to it if it was what Shane chose. And so I think it was important that she put that in there because I think a lot of the time, earlier in the long game, there was a little bit of resentment from Ilya sometimes when Shane, like the first conversation Shane had with Crow, where he was like, oh, he wants me to like hide or not be as openly gay and all these things. And it's not like I was going to take you out on the center ice and like kiss you. And then, the inner monologue with him is like, he's kind of like annoyed by the end of the conversation. And I thought it was important that they put here that like Ilya would understand where Shane was and wasn't pushing him to make a decision either way here, so that the payoff when Shane is like, I choose you, it is solely because Shane felt that that is what he wanted to do. And it was really funny at the end after they make out in the elevator and Shane says, oh, you're not mad? I'm like, babe, Shane, I forget you don't have all these inner thoughts. This is Ilya's fucking dream, babe.
He couldn't be happier. He couldn't be happier. But I like what you pointed out about Ilya, in a sense, providing Shane with a little bit of grace for, you know, because the thing that no one really talks about is that Shane actually had to come out. Ilya never did.
Hello.
Ilya never in his clubhouse talked about being queer. He never went to his coach. He never went to his teammates outside of Troy, but that was, you know, much later. Like, Shane, at the start of the season, came out to his team. Like, Ilya never had to deal with that. Like, why are we not talking about that? Like, Ilya could just go on as if he was the, like, ladies' man womanizer that he had always been back in Boston. And no one thought any different about it.
Nope.
I'm like, it's so interesting.
And there's so much, yeah. So it's rare that you saw him have this level of just like, I'm seeing Shane's side of this and why he has and would choose these things. And it wasn't until obviously Shane lost it all where Ilya kind of had those thoughts. But I mean, I know it's such a good scene, and I love that because I read somewhere, did you read this, that like Rachel was going back and forth or something on whether or not, I don't know if this isn't whether or not he was actually going to say I choose Ilya in the scene. I think there was a version of the scene where Rachel was going to potentially have him just be like, let's continue to hide it, or let's go with the statement so he can protect Ilya. And I think her editor was like, no, babe.
No. Yeah. That would have been a mistake.
Like, no.
That would have been a mistake. That would have been a mistake.
Shout out to the editor.
Shout out to the editor.
Scene was such a payoff for not only this book, but their entire arc. It literally was like, it ended, like you said, it was the hero's arc. And then I felt like the rest of the book was kind of this new journey for Shane. Because I don't even know if Shane from 10 years ago, if you were to tell Shane in 12 or whatever, hey, so in 10 years, you're going to choose a guy over hockey or choose anything over hockey.
Anything
I think
over
he'd
hockey.
be like, what are you That's funny.
Me?
Yeah.
He's like, hockey is life. Hockey is my life.
That's all I know.
That's all I know.
That's what
only thing I know how to do. Like, what am I going to do without it?
Thank you. And then it's like, you know, so it's like there was this moment was, you know, a lot of people like to think earlier in the book, which we'll talk about in a second, might have been the climax. But I feel like this was the climax. This is what we've been like waiting to see happen. What would he say? And
absolutely. Absolutely. We've been waiting for that since the start of the long game, the beginning of the long game, because you knew. The last thing I'll say, and then we can move on to the next one. The thing that is so apparent, especially if I've been annotating this book in the very beginning of the long game, is how uncomfortable Shane is hiding and lying and not being able to be open. How much it kills him.
He hates it.
He hates it. It's just that they both communicate very differly. Ilya is much more outward communicator and Shane is more internal. But like, his feelings about it are no less, no less diminished because he's now verbally talking about it every second. Like, it's killing him. It's truly killing him. And to have this moment was just so pivotal. Like, that's why it got a hand clap in this household. It got a hand clap, y'all. Chef's kiss.
Same. I know that's right when I read it the first time. And I said that
out loud. Rena wondering, like, damn, when is season 2 coming out? Glad we got a date now, y'all. Okay, Nicole, what do we have as our number 3 ranked scene?
Okay, well, this isn't a scene. We cheated a little bit, but it's something everyone talks about.
Yes.
And we're equally as excited, and that is Ilya's relationship with Shane's parents, David and Yuna. And okay, there is so much to say about this. And obviously, the good thing about their relationship, it happens throughout the book.
Yes.
But the thing when I was reading some of the passages, you see Ilya eating ice cream under a blanket. You see him playing Yahtzee and puzzles with David and watching Shane with David and Yuna and just having all these domestic moments.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I was thinking about is we talk a lot about how pivotal of relationship this is for Ilya because of his upbringing, right?
Yeah.
With his mother dying young, and so he didn't really have parental figures in a loving way, in that way, most of his life. But I was thinking, like, how equally pivotal of a relationship this is for David and Yuna. Because David and Yuna, I think all parents, I'm not a parent, so I would not talk for all parents, but I know just talking to my own parents, there are always some regrets or things you look back on that are like, I wish I would have done this differently. And I think that David and Yuna raised Shane, their only child, to be incredibly strict and disciplined and rule-based because this is a man who they're raising to potentially be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
So I can imagine there's not a lot of levity there all the time when he's growing up. There's a lot of like, I know what his day and his schedule is going to look like. And you see those habits instilled in Shane at an older age. I mean, those things don't just come out of thin air. I mean, obviously they're there because you're a professional athlete, but
right.
I think that there is a level of we have another son and maybe we can just do things differently or try things differently. And so you see them being a little bit more playful. You see them, like, in my mind, I'm like, who knows if Shane was able to eat on the couch growing up? It was like maybe strictly a dinner table or kitchen thing. And here's Ilya curled under a blanket with melted ice cream and eating hand pies and, just watching TV. And I think maybe there was a chance for them to just not right their wrong, but just do things differently in the way that like you see parents act towards their grandchildren, and the child is always like, "You never did that with me." Like,
right? Yeah,
why
yeah,
are you so chill?
Why they get to do that? Why are they special? Yeah.
And so I feel like that's the relationship I see with them and Ilya because like that's not their full son the way Shane is. And I think in a way Shane is so disciplined and just like another personality where he's not going to be the one curling under a blanket eating ice cream or playing Yahtzee or any of those things. And so they're getting to kind of live certain moments with Ilya that they didn't with Shane. And I think like they equally are benefiting from the relationship in a way.
They are. I had similar thoughts. It's almost the same vein, but a little bit differently because I'm like, they almost feel like foster parents who have a new foster child where you're trying to give someone a different experience than the one that they came from. And Jess, I'm sure from Shane, they have background information about like how Ilya grew up, what his parents, what happened to his mother, and understanding very quickly that, at a certain point at the age of 12, Ilya stopped having a childhood. And I don't know to be honest, how much of a childhood he had before then with a mother who was clinically depressed and a father who was the father that he was. And so getting to like almost treat Ilya as he would have been at 12 or 8 or 10 and getting to be that parental figure that is nurturing, that is loving, that plays games with him. Like, when was the last time any parent or parental figure played a game with him, with Ilya?
I know.
And so, and how healing that was to your point, for them, but for Ilya. And it's such a beautiful relationship. And I love that like Rachel really did outline, that they each have their own specific relationship with him. David has a very specific relationship with Ilya.
Yes.
Yuna has a very specific relationship with Ilya. Yuna, her favorite son is Ilya Rosanov.
I know. And she says that. It's so sweet.
It was sweet because Shane's response to that. Shane's response
he
being
loves
like,
it.
I wanted to be annoyed by it, but I love it so much. He loves it. He loves being that safe space for Shane, and his parents have become that. I mean, for Ilya, and his parents have become that to him as well. It's so sweet.
And one of the things I wrote down that I just was like, I mean, yeah, it's so sweet, but it's just like so much. But I said, one of the best parts of the long game is that Ilya gets to see Shane in a role he hasn't seen. Like, he's not Shane the hockey player, he's not Shane the boyfriend or the lover. He gets to see Shane as someone's son. And what greater gift is there to be able to experience your favorite person in the world in the ways in which they were raised to be loved and to love? Like,
Yeah.
What a privilege that is.
Yeah.
And to your point, Ilya, we can, probably assume we know he did not have this growing up. And even in little things, right? Like, there's a scene in chapter 8 where they just got done playing Yahtzee and they're getting ready to watch Shane play hockey. And Shane calls him. So Shane didn't even know that Ilya was at his parents' house, which is like also super cute because he's just going over there kind of like, because that's what he does.
Yes,
like Shane's like, oh, you're over there? I can't believe they invited you to play Yahtzee. I'm sure my mom hates that you're beating her and all these things. But then during their conversation, here it is. Okay. Ilya strolled over to the mantle, which was covered in framed photos of Shane at various ages, mostly in hockey gear. He'd been truly adorable kid. And then they talk about the game, like ready for the game, shirts with Boston, But Ilya traced a finger over a photo of Shane in his junior hockey uniform. He looked about 17, the age he'd been when Ilya had first met him. And you can just tell. My thing is, like, one, I imagine Ilya grew up in a house where there were not framed photos of families or his childhood around. Yeah. And at this point, they're 3 years into the relationship. So this is not the first time that Ilya has seen these photos. But you can just tell that, like, him knowing I'm in the space where Shane was, like, growing up and, like, just, like, learning and becoming the Shane that I know and love is like a privilege to Ilya. Like, it's not lost on him that this is happening. And so, he's always been observant. He's always been kind of in the details and wanting to know any and everything about Shane in this kind of way. But I love that they showed this through the relationship of the parents and of Ilya's connection to the family at this point.
It's very much my favorite person's favorite person. They are like in their own little bubble. Their own little family unit. Like, they have inside jokes and they are in a text group together. And to your point, I can imagine him like looking at those pictures of Shane on the mantle being like, I can't wait till these pictures are in our home together where we can finally have pictures of ourselves, like pictures of us together that we cannot have now because this is still a secret.
Of our kids,
our kids
who are like growing up, and it's just like, and yeah, it is nice to see. You're right. You said this earlier, but it's similar to when you saw Ilya in the cottage with Shane and he's doing handstands and playing in the water and like just being super playful and being a kid in the way that probably he never was allowed to be. And you see that in their relationship here where it's like, oh, like none of their scenes ever feel. They feel adult, but they're very like, are you sure you don't want to stay for more ice cream? Can I not make you more food? Oh, I brought you hand pies and like, oh, like, everything, like, what, come and watch. And they're like curled up on the couch together. Like, it's just, this is what Ilya deserved 15, 20 years ago.
It is. It is. And I just like had a thought when you were talking. I'm just like, all of the other coping mechanisms he used, whether it be like women or alcohol or just partying. And it's like, he would have been so benefited from having like a more wholesome experience and like, laying under the blanket with ice cream and doing puzzles and like the mundanity, quote unquote, of like this life is something that's so coveted to him. Like, going back to like the cottage, like, so Canada's fun. Like, this is all boring, but like, it's the thing that he loves the most.
He loves it.
He loves it. He loves it.
I know. There's something else I want to talk about, but I will try to hold it for another part, like later on in this episode with them. Okay. So I will save that conversation. Just know that like there is like just so the Hollanders like Shane has no idea how much he has healed this man. And a lot of that is because of David and Yuna, who literally questioned it at first and they were like, for real? But then once they noticed the seriousness to which Ilya and Shane's relationship was and Ilya's love for Shane, they were tapped in from the beginning. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. They loved him unconditionally. And he's never had that. You know,
he's never had
he's
that,
loved under a lot. He's been loved under a lot of conditions.
Yeah.
And this is the first time where people who have no reason to do so love him for who he is. And I just, it's so good. I love that Rachel did this in this book.
Something you said when you just said that Ilya, Shane will never know how he's healed Ilya. And I'm just like, he never knew the extent of the damage either, because Ilya was never transparent about it. And I'm just like, ooh, okay.
Child.
He never, that's
another episode.
Girl, it is. I think that might have sparked something, another episode, but I'm just, wow, he just never knew the extent of the damage because there was a lot of it. I wonder if they will explore that in Unraveled. I would love to see that. Like a full transparency, a shared therapy session or something.
I would die to see that. And, you know, okay, I want to end on something that you mentioned earlier at the beginning of us talking about this, about when she says like, oh, you're my favorite son. Mm-hmm. Is that this, Rachel outlines very early on how much this relationship means to Ilya, because in that scene, and I don't think I wrote down like, oh, it's the end of chapter 2, but I didn't mark it actually down. Oh no, I did. Oh, when did I
you
do
did that?
I did that. Okay, wait. It's when okay, yeah. So they talk about like, yeah, that's why you're my favorite son, because you're helping me cook. Mm-hmm. And then to your point about him loving the mundane and then just the relationship they have, he says, later, they sat around the table and toasted their successful first day of camp with glasses of water. They ate their healthy Shane-approved dinner and talked about hockey and the charity and decor ideas for Shane's house and plans for the rest of the summer. It felt, as it always did to Ilya, wonderful and surreal at the same time. He never expected this domestic comfort in his life. Not with anyone. He never expected to be part of a family and have parents again. He would do absolutely everything to protect this. And he was constantly terrified that when it came to it, he wouldn't be able to, because the day would come. And that devastates me, because Ilya is on... it sets up exactly what Ilya... I mean, this is early on in the book. It's page 30. It sets up the issue with Ilya in this book, right?
Yeah.
When you have it all, and yet it feels as if like you're on the cusp of losing it all, mm-hmm. and you're never fully able to be present and like appreciative and happy about, like, I guess just like the world in which you live in. Like, what?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? And like, and I just like that Rachel shows us early on that like his relationship with Yuna, but also David, by his parents, means the world to him, to the point where he's terrified that if he loses it, what does that mean for him and his mental and emotional health? And like, that is like his biggest fear at this point, is losing all of this. And this is just a regular, for Shane and Yuna, this is a Tuesday. Like, they're not going to remember this. You know what I mean? But this moment was so monumental for him that it's like, I'm going to do everything in my power not to lose it, is what that passage was telling me, which is why the next 300 pages is him just like shutting down and pushing down emotions and not being
grasping
the problem.
At straws, just like trying to hold on for dear life.
Exactly.
To this thing. And also like probably his view of Shane, of course, but also Yuna and David is just like, these are really good people. And I'm not that. And I can try to like do an approximation of it, but I don't know if I can get close enough to where they're completely believe the mask. And I'm just like, Shane does not see you that way. Yuna and David don't see you that way.
No. Oh
you
my
are
God.
good. You are.
I know.
All of these things.
Poor thing. But that's why that relationship is so healing and it's so important and we love it.
We do. We do.
Okay. Tyra. Oh gosh, we're getting into the. Okay, so these long game episodes are going to be long because we're only at number 2. I said we're only at number 2.
We are.
And we got honorable mentions. Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, girl. What's our number 2?
Number 2 is the Boxing Day blow up, you guys.
Lord.
The fight, the turning point in the novel, every novel needs it. That point where, our main characters have to decide what they're going to do. And the thing I find so interesting, Nicole, is it just is so transparent about their relationship and how they interact with each other that this fight is not really about what they initially start arguing about.
No.
It's about something deeper, something deep-seated that, once again, the communication, the things that they don't ever talk about that just fester, they're small cuts that become these gaping wounds. And this conversation starts off with Ilya inviting Shane to Nicole's favorite, Zane Boodrum's house, for a party. And, let me get provide a little levity. Ilya, what the hell are you thinking? What is happening?
I
said, sir. And what are we thinking right now? Because in what world would the Shane Hollander of the Montreal Metros be at Zane Boodrum of the Ottawa Center's house on Boxing Day?
On Boxing Day at that.
On Boxing Day, while other couples are going to be, like, other players and their significant others are going to be there. What would that say?
And that's it. By the way, and Shane, rightfully, Shane's already out at this point, and I know he only came out to his team, but there's still been rumors in the league at this point. So
of course,
he's coming over with Ilya.
I'm glad that you said that, because that's another risk that Shane took in telling his old team. Like, your team is not going to 100% be behind you and make sure that this is a locker room secret and no one else knows. They're going to talk about it with other players. But I digress.
Yes.
So we get into them going back and forth about whether Shane can come. And Shane's just like, this will be incredibly weird if I just show up on your arm. And Ilya's like, we're friends. What did our whole plan about starting this charity be for, if not for us to be seen in public? And to Shane's point, there are times and places for that. But it really is much more a conversation about Ilya's growing frustration about being a secret, not being able to come out the way that he wants to come out, which, as I go back to what I talked about, he never does come out and say that he's queer to his team. He could start there, but he doesn't. And so we get this, like, really great line of text where it says, Shane's eyes widen in surprise. Sorry, did I miss something? I thought we were on the same page about this. Ilya says, we are not. I'm sorry, this is page 238. We are not on the same anything. I don't fucking understand you. Sorry, Ilya says sardonically. My English, That's not what Shane threw his hand up. Could you please explain what the fuck is happening? Because last I checked, we didn't go to each other's team parties or tell anyone about our relationship. No, I don't tell anyone about our relationship. You tell Hayden and Jackie and Rose and your parents and who the fuck knows who else. That's literally everyone. You know that. It is 5 more people than I have told, Ilya said, omitting his therapist, because that was a whole other conversation that at this point, Ilya has not divulged to Shane about. Yeah. But just that thought that I'm just like, this fight is compounded by a lot of things, but I can't really pinpoint what the main catalyst is for Ilya. I'm like, is it the growing frustration of being secret? Is it the frustration that you don't have a person that is just yours that you can share this with, that you can talk about? Is it that Shane is not willing to bend a little bit as you see it in any area? Like, it's hard to kind of pinpoint where the breakdown is kind of happening for them, but Shane, like, has a rightful response. But the issue that I have with this fight is that they don't ever really stick around to like go through it with each other and have communication. It kind of just blows up into this thing.
Are we shocked? No communication with Shane and Ilya.
Like, it just blows up. We get really heated, and then it's over. I just...
Well, so the part that it is, this scene frustrates me. I have a couple of reasons why, but the one line that stuck out for me, when I read it again, was when on 239, when after they go through like, what you were just reading about, I don't have anyone to talk to about us. Because to me, if that were the main thing, the main issue, they could talk that out easily and be like, all right, well, let's talk about who you could tell. What would make you feel better here? And then we're done.
Yes.
So that's why I thought the part that sent Ilya over the edge was, and just like the part that I feel like is the issue with them, is this line, is when Shane says, it's not easy for me either, you know, Shane said, clearly angry now. We're both hiding, and we both made sacrifices that, and that's when Ilya did probably the black girl turn and said,
you know he did.
You know he did. Similar to that look in the car. He said, what sacrifices, Shane? So, okay, that got me thinking for me, and I wrote down a lot of notes on this, is that their definition and their relationship to sacrifices is the main issue, because it's completely opposite. Because I said that for Ilya, sacrifice almost always ends in loss. That he sacrificed for his family. He watched his mother sacrifice a lot, and we saw that end in heartbreak. And so for him, sacrifice has always been a negative kind of relationship. And so now he's being told, I had to sacrifice all of these things. I feel alone. I'm depressed. I have no one to talk to about this. No one knows in my personal life about me and Shane. I'm on a losing hockey team. Like, this is all terrible for me. And then for me, I said Shane's relationship with sacrifice is opposite, because he almost has like a, what's that thing? The, temporary pain, like long-term gain kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, for him, he's probably grown up with sacrifice. That's like, if you eat right, if you eat this stupid microbiotic diet, if you don't get to go outside and play with your friends, you don't have a real childhood. If you just dedicate yourself and do these things, the outcome's going to be good. You're going to become Shane Hollander. You're going to become Shane Hollander, the greatest player ever. Or, you know, in the NHL, you're going to be able to win these 3 NHL, you know, 70 cups. You're going to be 30 and be playing the best time. You know, you're going to be feeling great because you've made these sacrifices. And so and you see this at the Fabian concert, right? This was laid out clear where, like, they showed Ilya's point of view, and he's like, I'm dying. I just want you to take me on stage and, like, kiss me. I'm over this. I cannot do this. And then you hear Shane, he's literally saying, like, okay, if we just get through this, like, then I know I'm going to go home and we're going to get down to the get down. And, like, this is just, like, part of the plan. Like, the pain is part of the plan. And so... And they're not wrong, because they both are sacrificing things, and it's their own version of sacrificing, right? But Shane's is mostly internal and things that he sees from a positive outcome. And a lot of Ilya's sacrifices is very external, and he sees from like a negative outcome. And it just, they never aligned on like what they're both risking here, because the definitions are different.
Yeah, they have completely different attachment styles. They have completely different love languages. And I don't know if they've ever, well, Ilya in this book, we kind of see this a little bit, have done the inner work to figure out who they are or who they would be in relationships with their specific attachment style, with their specific love language, and how can I communicate that to my partner? Like, it's not even really a thought. And what in the device that makes it so great, which is the long distance relationship, that makes it easier for a writer to say, well, we can't get into this because we are spending, you know, stolen moments together. So we don't want to talk about the issues of our relationship. We only want to enjoy the bliss of it. And
his therapist says that. Galena says that. Like, y'all never have talked about this because of that.
Never. Shane did go a little bit below the belt.
No, I know what the line you're gonna say.
I know when Shane says, "Not everything, but hockey is pretty fucking important to me," and Ilya says, "No shit," and Shane says, "Oh fuck you. Sorry, I still want to win cups instead of smoking weed with my teammates between losses." Now, Shane, you don't have to go that low. You weren't
I'll
in
be
hell.
honest.
I know, Nicole, that you said 10 toes down on it, but
no, I don't. No.
Oh.
I'm Ilya. Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like,
no. I'm with you. When I read that, I literally was like,
I'm like, Shane, you didn't go to hell, but you went close. Damn. Like, that was a lot.
No,
that was a lot.
The foot was in the door.
Peeking through. And
because not only did he say, if you break down that one sentence, he said, I still want to win cups, which implies Ilya doesn't. Then he says smoking weed, which we know is just like not an athlete thing to do.
Yep.
With my teammate between losses. He said your ass isn't even winning. Shane.
And also have no motivation to win. Like, directionless.
Shane, babe.
No motivation. And I can imagine for Ilya, as we know Ilya hearing that, all of these insecurities come back. Every single one of them. And that's what
Ilya's
we get Ilya saying the like faded line. You wouldn't even choose me, would you? Ilya said, if it was between me and hockey. And
and
of course I would. Yeah.
Let's just be honest. We all know in hindsight, like, dang, yeah, Ilya, why'd you bring that up? But also, Shane did kind of push him into that at that moment because you beat me down like that. Ilya was nice.
Baby,
Ilya was
after you guys, Ilya gave him the photo of them at the commercial shoot. Their first photo together. Because we don't have any pictures of each other. Baby, now...
Email the photographer. Email the photographer.
Tracked it down. If that's me, I'm hearing sirens in the background, okay? Saxophones are getting louder.
Ring the alarm. I've been through this too long.
I'll be damned if you want to talk to me like that in my house. And when Ilya told him, I think you need to go, Shane need to go.
No. Honestly, I love Shane. Shane is my man. But Shane, we need to go. Because the problem is, listen, I hate that became the argument. It's like, you wouldn't choose talking over me. But that statement alone, you already brought up hockey in a situation where we weren't talking about that. We were talking about me not being able to talk about our relationship. I want to be your boyfriend outwardly so bad. That is what the conversation was. And Shane is just like, well, sorry that you like losing and smoking weed. That's not my problem. What?
Shane said, I got 5 more cups in me, okay? I know you can't see that for yourself, but I got it in me. Shane, calm down. That's when the Yuna in him came out, okay? That's where you are your mother's son, okay?
Yeah.
Your mother's son.
Yeah. But you know what? No seriousness. But like, honestly, when I read that for the first time, I was like, ooh.
Yes. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
How can you say that to your man? Okay.
To your man.
Ooh.
Listen, he does not practice Michelle Obama's theory. When they go low, we go high. He really said, foot in the door count. To Nicole's point.
He said, I'm climbing down the ladder. Oh, we going deeper. And I get it. Heat of the moment, listen, we love a messy character.
Love it.
Love
it. Listen.
And also, let me just be clear. Let me also say, especially because I'm wearing an Ilya jersey, that like, I want to say that there were moments in the long game before this conversation where I also wanted to like fight Ilya on behalf of Shane. Because you have one more time to talk about my diet. Like it's too much. It was getting to be too much. Like him like jiving on Shane. And I know why he was doing it and everything. I don't care. But after a while, y'all, that shit gets on your nerves.
In the words of Yuna, leave him alone. When Yuna said that, I said yes. Leave him alone. Please.
Finally, because y'all, y'all were letting this man talk any other way to your son, but okay.
And the thing that pissed me off too, well, not pissed me off, but like Ilya would do it.
I need y'all to know we're kidding. By the way,
we are.
Also,
sorry, but Ilya would do it in mixed company too when he did it in front of Fabian and Ryan. You keep that in house. You don't bring that out in mixed company. You don't bring that out to the people. No, baby.
I didn't. There was like, by like the 5th time, I was like, see, I would have already told this man to shut the fuck up. But that's why I don't have a man.
Exactly. And then you would have been the villain. I'm the bad person.
Correct.
For having boundaries.
Wait. What's so funny is Shane's, we're calling him the bad person for finally tapping back.
In context.
In context. The one thing I did want to say here, because, and I think, Tyra, we've talked about this off this podcast, is their 2 arguments both have equal weight, just in terms of their life experiences and what they're feeling. Yeah. But the thing that I wish Rachel would do, and I maybe hope does in Unrivaled, I don't know, is that Shane has done a lot to truly understand Ilya as a person. And I think Ilya has done a lot to understand Shane as a romantic partner. Like, he does a lot of things that are incredibly romantic, incredibly sweet. But I don't think Rachel has done enough for Ilya to truly understand the fear that Shane was feeling throughout this book as to why he did not want to be out with Ilya versus just being out. He's never had a conversation with Shane about what it means to be gay, what it means to be half Asian in a white ass league, what it means to have that weight on your shoulders, and for what we see to happen, which is Shane's biggest fear coming true. And so we never got that conversation afterward where, it was like, and thank God for some of these fanfic writers who have given me this conversation. And I do hope Rachel maybe does it in the future. But I think what happens is that after they have this big fight on Boxing Day, we have a whole chapter where Shane is understanding of where Ilya's coming from. And I don't think it's the other way around. Ilya is just more understanding his role in the fight and like, maybe I pushed too far. But he truly doesn't understand why this plan's in place, why Shane is so scared to be fully out with him as his boyfriend. And you've never seen Ilya even asking about, the conversation Shane has with Rose in season 1 about like his upbringing and how it felt to kind of be the only. I would love if Ilya had a similar conversation or just an understanding of Shane's background, the way. Because that is a lot of what plays into this.
It really is. I'm glad you said that. It really is. Even with Shane coming out to his team, like, and I know we don't get to see that in the book, and hopefully Jacob does show that on the show. He has to, right? But
he said it.
So, like, just what was that conversation like with Ilya and Shane about, like, Shane, what was your experience coming out? How did the team react? Like, in the days after that, what was their response? But it is very interesting that it does seem like, to your point where you said, like, Ilya views Shane as a romantic partner, and that's the lens in which he views him and has gotten to know him. It's almost like life began when he met Shane, and everything before that was just kind of obsolete for Ilya. And so... like, I don't need him to know that part of me. I just, like, almost like, this was a metamorphosis at some point. And then I was fully a butterfly when I met Shane. Like, the process was over. And now we can start from this point and move forward as opposed to learning history. And I'm like, no, but when you are devoid of that and don't want to share that with your partner, you're also asking your partner not to share that of themselves. It's so, that's interesting.
Because you think about, like, I mean, we talked about this on our supporting characters episode, right? But when you're like a minority in these majority white spaces, there's a level of perfection that you're trying to reach because that's the only ways in which you break into these spaces. You cannot be a mediocre POC in a white space and expect to, like,
you can't
break through that. Or that's how we're raised to think. And that's honestly the way the world kind of is.
Yeah, you have to be
and so there's a lot of pressure. I know I can say I've put on myself for certain things that you probably have. And that when I was reading that part of Shane, you know, and he's talking about things like his microbiotic diet, or he's talking about things on like, I just like, there's an anxiety that comes with exceptionalism in a way that I can relate to, that I wish that they would have Ilya either verbally understand, or there be something in the text for him to know that. Because when I constantly saw him jabbing on him all the time, I think there was a pain point for us, because it was like, yo, you are, I know you have your own issues, and I'm not negating that, but you are still a white man. Like, it was bothering me after a certain point that I'm like, I need you to understand that, like, Shane's lived experience is the reason why a lot of this is happening to him. On top of the fact that he's now out as a gay man.
Talk about it.
You know?
Talk about it.
So I'm just like,
talk
so
about
that's
it.
where a lot of my frustrations came from on the long game. It's just like, dude, like, I needed Ilya to have perspective for like 0.5 seconds that you're dating a man of color.
but even with all of Shane's exceptionalism, which I feel like a lot of people of color, especially Black people, feel, there is still this level of imposter syndrome where I don't belong here and I shouldn't be here. That Ilya, that you see throughout Rivalry in the long game, he never feels. He knows he deserves to be there. As a white man in the sport of hockey, he knows he deserves to be there. He knows how good he is. He will let you know.
Yes.
And it's like, Shane is like, I'm this good because of the preparation, because of the way I prepare, the knowledge that I have, how hard I practice, how hard I work, how I was raised. Like, going back to like that episode 4 montage where Ilya's out partying and Shane is like reading books, like studying, like doing commercials. It's just being exceptional. You don't get a break from that. Like, when you're a person of color, you don't get a break from it.
You do not get a break from it. You do not get a break from it. And Shane knows if you do break from that, that could be the end of everything. And that is a pressure and it's a burden you hold, or you have. And honestly, we're saying this as just people who are like living our normal lives. We're not in the limelight. We are not like the top of our sport or whatever it is. And it's like, so I just wish and I want, because the thing is, I know Ilya would do that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, Ilya is obviously a written person, but like, I just feel like Ilya, because of the care and love that you see that he has for Shane, that naturally this would be something that he would explore, or at least mention. And so I don't think it's OOC out of character, or I don't think that it would be like, sorry, that's like very, very in the weeds fandom. Things to say, but like, I think it's something that Ilya would actually observe and acknowledge. And so I want that for him, because I think very highly of Ilya and think that he would. So that is how,
listen,
I don't know.
If this ever gets to Jacob, listen to this part, Jacob. That's what we want. That's what we want and need.
Rachel, girl, if you're still writing that book,
that's what we want and need. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Okay.
Okay, Nicole, what do we have at the number 1 rank spot?
We're just at number 1. Oh my God.
Woo,
but you know what?
Yep.
Long game. We've been gone for a minute. Long game equals long episodes. We have a lot to say about this book. There's a lot. But
we're gonna love it.
We are, but we're going to end on a happy note, because our number 1 scene, and I think it's everyone's number 1 scene, Jacob Tardy has even said it's his number 1 scene. It is the Hayden Pike kids' wedding of Shane and Ilya. Y'all, I can't.
Perfection in a scene. Rachel, the pen game was strong that day. Perfection.
Rachel. That was the same day she wrote. What was the scene we talked about an hour and a half ago?
It wasn't that one.
The proposal. The proposal, right? I think. She wrote that on the same day. She had
the same day. Rachel had her Wheaties that morning. Okay, she was prepared and locked in.
Matt
prepared
Penn
and locked
said,
in.
cursive, we are locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, I think this is obviously one of the most important scenes of the long game.
Really is.
I think what makes this scene so good for me, a lot of things, but for a few hours, Shane and Ilya are able to experience a relationship in the ways in which they should be able to in the real world and deserve to.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are in that room, you know, they're kind of playing parents with Hayden's 4 kids. They're making fake food, they're playing games,
Yeah.
and they aren't even being coupley. It's just like the love is radiating off of them so hard that one of the
Mm-hmm.
little girls is like, "Is that your boy? Is that your man? Is that your boyfriend?"
True man and all.
Yeah, and they're like, "Well, are y'all married? Well, do y'all want to get married? Hey, pull out the Moana. We got y'all.
Let's order up a
them
wedding.
married.
Let's order up a wedding right now.
let's get these 2 men married." And I think what's so beautiful about it is they were just existing as Shane and Ilya. And they've never been able to do that in public spaces like this.
Yeah.
And so here are, you know, the kids are a reminder for us that we have overcomplicated adult life. We've filled it with a lot of rules and stipulations and hate and putting people in boxes that just, if you were to take all of like these things away, this is what we would have.
Yes.
And so they just simplified what love is in this moment. And I just loved that for them, for Shane and Ilya. And the fact that for kids, these 4 kids were just there and they're just playing wedding, right? They're just like, let's just do a wedding. And so this is just like a Monday for them. But for Shane and Ilya, this was a core memory. Like,
it really is.
It changed everything for them in a way. Because after this, they're talking about kids and how many kids they want and like how this was a glimpse into their future. And like they could see what being married and having a wedding would be like, you know, if they were afforded the opportunity to do that. But the world is the thing standing in between them. And it was such a beautiful scene, but it also just like had a hint of sadness, right? Because of the situation that
because the world
they're
isn't
in.
that way. They're in this cocoon, this bubble at Hayden's house, and then when they step out, the world is not going to look as favorably on their relationship and everything. and it just, to your point, it's so sweet and simple. And that's the thing that kids do. They hold up a mirror and let you know this is how we should be. And society fails over and over. Because to your point, the text says, "Are you going to get married?" Shane locked eyes with Ilya, and Ilya saw the silent plea for help in them. "Do you think we should?" Ilya asked. "Do you love each other?" "We're friends," Shane said stiffly. At the same time, Ilya said yes. Do you love each other? Just as simple as that. Simple. "Do you think we should?" And a child's response is, "Well, do you love each other?" Because like, if you do, then you should. As it is. That's as simple as it is. All of the other stuff, all the expectations, all of the outside pressure, bigotry, hate. It really at the core should just be about, do you love each other? Do you make each other better? Do you feel fulfilled when you're together? Like, and to your point,
that's why it's so devastating. Like this moment when you see it, trust me, I didn't leave this scene feeling devastated, but there's just like a level of it for you when you're reading it, because you're seeing them tear up in this moment where they're doing their vows and saying like, yeah, I promise to love you forever, and like putting on the pink and purple ring, and it's just like, here are 2 people who have been in some kind of relationship with one another for over a decade at this point.
Yeah.
And this is just like obviously a fake moment, but it's the first time where they're able to kind of like see their lives in themselves in a way in which, like, you hear Shane talk a lot about, like, why can't we be like Hayden and Jackie? Like, they met in a club and then they got married a month later or whatever it was, you know? And it's like, they get all these things, and Shane is super frustrated by that. And you just have this moment where it's just like, this is like like, this is who we are. We've had to play into what the world thinks we are for so long and having to hide this part of ourselves. And here we are, and I can just like envision I can see us being parents. We're doing it right now. I can see us, you know, being like lifelong loves of our lives, which we're doing now and promising each other.
Yep.
And why can't we have this? Like,
Why
it is
can't we have
such a bummer that we can't have this because of outside forces that are like dictating our relationship to each other and who we should love or not love for the last 13 whatever years it is. And it is like,
yes. And
just,
I think that this scene just compounds for both of them how unfair everything is.
Yes.
Because it should be so simple. Like, outside of the
Yeah.
world of like this hyper famous, they're hockey players. They are just two good people who fell in love. That's it. They want to live a simple life. They don't want to do anything extravagant. Like, they just want to love each other and love each other in a way that feels authentic to both of them. And this right here, like, kids can accept that. And somehow, you know, the world at large, the league, everybody else has a problem with who I love. It's so fucking frustrating.
And what makes, no, it pisses me off, and it also makes me, just like makes me really sad that obviously this is a real life situation for a lot of people. It is a book, but like this is the fucking world we live in. And even like, and I get it because of everything we just said, but when you reread, and I don't know if I actually have it saved, but at the beginning when the kids are asking about them, right? And you see them giving two different answers. And I have to, I'm like, Rachel, she slipped in. I just love the fact that throughout this book, she slipped in little moments that led up to this big climactic moment for them, right? Where it's like, when you go back and read, you're like, oh wait, I can even see when like Shane is saying we're just friends when they ask you love them, but then Ilya at the same time it's like yes. And it's just like, gosh, this is just like the world has overcomplicated this, and also just like it just like it makes me this scene brings me so much joy. It's so beautifully written, and I cannot freaking wait to see this on my screen. Y'all do not understand. Y'all don't understand.
He carried him over the threshold, y'all.
Oh my god! He would not stop kissing his neck when they got to the door. Like,
said, is this our
he was
wedding
over
night?
the freaking moon. Over the freaking moon. Over the freaking moon. And when you know, I think even Ilya says this. I wish I marked it, but he said in the text where he was like, you know, the kids didn't care.
Yeah, the kids didn't care.
He said that the kids didn't care. And Shane was like, well, I think a lot of other people would, basically.
And he's not wrong. It just fucking sucks. It just fucking sucks that that's the case.
And, you know, that sends Ilya kind of into like, he gets very frustrated by that, because I think he says something like, well, you would care or something, you know, like where he just kind of like blows up at him a little bit and then doesn't say what's causing him to do that. But it's like, I just like, fuck everybody in this fake universe who has made this situation I mean, in our real world too, correct?
Montreal Metro is on site, y'all hoes.
It's on fucking site. Roger Crow, it's on fucking site.
It's on site.
Okay? All these other homophobic, terrible fucking people, it's on site. Because when you start using your religion or rules of life to fuel your hate, it's a problem. And that's exactly what is happening. I mean, obviously that is why these books exist. But that scene was just like, I want them to have this now. I think I left that scene feeling like an urgency, kind of similar to Ilya, where I'm like, they deserve this. There's no reason why these two people should not have what they just experienced with these 4 kids.
Right. Because this wedding happens on page 136.
That's what I'm saying.
We got hundreds of pages to go after that. Like,
should have read a whole freaking book.
Right.
This is how much we got left.
Should have wrapped it up after that. Like, they're married, they're happy. Fuck MLH and
that's what I'm saying. Like, Wait, there's one line before this. I know earlier, like 10 minutes ago, we were talking about how much I just was over Ilya talking about Shane's eating habits. But there's something he says on this chapter right before that I said, you know what?
What is
Ilya's always been funny. But that's
funny as hell.
I mean, well,
that's a funny
Rachel,
man.
Rachel was funny. Okay, so here it is. Okay. So it's on page 134. And Jackie says, "Oh, sweetie, it's okay. Mommy will be home soon and you'll have so much fun with Uncle Ilya." And Hayden says, "Uncle Ilya?" And Ilya picked Amber up and smiled at her. "Shane told me that you are a great chef." The 3-year-old stared at him with wide, wet eyes, then nodded. "If you like plastic food," Hayden said, "you're in luck." "Better than what Shane eats," Ilya said, winking at Shane. And Hayden actually laughed at that. And I'm like, because that's funny. Because, like, to be that quick.
And then Hayden was pissed 5 seconds later because Ilya picked up his wife and took her to the car.
Which,
he's like, that's
cool.
my wife.
Yeah. Cool callback, though, too, that, like, then he picks up to what you said, pick Shane up, like, similarly. Anyway, the proposal scene we have to see, all of us. I still am going back and forth with buying the pink and purple ring that one of the fandom made. I don't remember the person's name, but it's so cute.
It's so cute. Want it. I think I need it, to be honest.
But you know what? Fun. I think we need to buy it before the season comes out, because once this scene is on screen, it's gone. It's selling out.
Sold out. Yeah. Okay, we need to get it because they're super cute.
Well,
don't they say like yours and mine on them too, or something like that?
Like they have something inscripted. There, it's
so good,
and it's so just good. Like, ugh. And I mean, I really, really hope that we get official social media from Crave on this, because we need to see Ilya's Instagram. But the photo of the 2 rings. I mean, come on.
We need to see the Instagram. Would have loved to see it in the off season right now on the lead up to like the show. So maybe December or something. Can we see something? January? Come on, Crave.
I mean, what else is? I'm sorry, Harris has a job. So
Harris has a job. Listen, Harris be working.
Harris literally takes that job serious as the Navy. Okay,
listen, runs it like the Navy, and also, Harris shows up in in my honorable mention. So,
sure.
So should we get to that?
Speaking of that. Y'all, when this is a 2-hour episode, you're welcome.
Sorry.
All right, so let's get to honorable mentions. What is your honorable mention this week, Tyra?
My honorable mention is the second wedding, you guys. Not the real one, because the first one was the real one that we just talked about.
It was.
But this is the one where we're including the friends and family. First one was for Shane and Ilya. This one is for all of our friends. And before I get into it, justice for Harris and him choosing Shine Bright Like a Diamond, okay? That girl Rihanna. These are millennial men, y'all, first and foremost. These are millennial men. Harris is a queer man. You don't think he's part of the Navy? You don't think he's part of the Navy? That came up on his shuffle, okay? And he said, you know what?
I did not think you were going to say this man was a Rihanna Navy.
He is part of the Navy. He was Riri down. And y'all are mad at him.
He's a stan.
He's a stan. And I just don't understand what y'all want from him. I love the song choice. I think it's hilarious. I think it's so great.
It's not only just hilarious, but like, what y'all, you know what? I hate to say this. So I used to watch American Idol, and their judgment sometimes of a good song choice is when you could manipulate either the genre of it or style of it, and it would still mean something.
Exactly.
And the thing is, this book actually made me go back and re-listen to Diamond, because I only saw it as like me and Tyra millennials. So that was a club song. I'm in the club, or I'm in the bar, or I'm at a kickback. Like, I'm not really paying attention to the song. We're just like, shine bright, like it's like
grooving, right?
Yeah, that's what we'll say. We're grooving. And so this was the first time. This is the first time that I really listened to the lyrics. And when Rachel said in the text that this song secretly always reminded Ilya of Shane, it is a very romantic song lyrically.
100%.
Like, I would love for that song to remind, I would love for me, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love for someone to listen to that song and be like, that's Nicole.
That's
like,
Nicole.
What?
I saw the light inside of you, Like, I saw it.
Ecstasy?
Yeah.
What are we?
Ecstasy.
Don't make me pull up these lyrics, because y'all are really trying to play Rihanna and Sia.
And
y'all are not going to do that.
And Sia. And I'm just like, there's a couple of things with this wedding. It's a backyard wedding, y'all, with no chairs. These are two men. I think we lose sight that these are two jocks, okay? Who don't really give a damn about like what this wedding should look like. Honestly, Ilya probably his only input was like, what we eating? What is the food looking like? Shane is just like,
Ilya was probably like, what color are we? Yeah, what color are we wearing so I can make sure Chiron matches me? That's literally his contribution.
Literally, yeah. Getting his dog a tuxedo, highlight of his day. His day.
And mine.
Like,
but you know what, Tyra? You saying that? When I went back and read some of this, I said, some of y'all missed the plot, because y'all want a full-out wedding from someone during their proposal said, am I supposed to wear the ring now or after we get married? And Shane said, I have no idea. I just thought I should have a ring. So y'all want Prince Harry, Meghan, freaking level wedding with
Westminster Abbey at the Abbey.
Correct.
Like, and also,
that's not what this is.
Ottawa. Like, Shane is city, country adjacent. You know, a backyard barred wedding. You know they had mason jars at that wedding that they were drinking out of. Come on, y'all. This is in the 20s. Come on. What are we talking about here?
And speaking of the song, the song, they didn't even know they're supposed to have a wedding song.
They didn't even know they were having a wedding song.
And y'all want them to have chairs? Okay.
If Yuna wasn't planning it, what did y'all think it was going to look like? Listen, it was very them, and I loved it.
I agreed. It was very them. And you know what? In all seriousness, the reason why I don't want them to have all these elaborate vows or this elaborate staging or wedding is because when you've been loving in secret for nearly a decade and a half, the only thing you care about is being able to love out loud in front of the people you love. And that is all that wedding was. That wedding was, we are solidifying our relationship in front of people that we finally get to be free to love in front of. That's all that was. And so for people to want something more elaborate or something different, that is not what Shane and Ilya is. Their relationship has always been quiet. It has always been love shown in the little moments. They weren't Scott and Kip on the ice kissing in front of national TV.
Would never be.
And so we shouldn't expect their wedding to be that at all. And so for me, this wedding was perfect. I don't want it to be changed. I don't know if they're going to get money to buy that Rihanna song. But I also don't want them to have some custom-made song created by, like, some singer so that, like, it just, y'all, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that.
Girl, somebody from Crave team or Jacob's team contact Rihanna, send her a DM. She's that girl will give it away. Rihanna was like, please have it. I know she's seen Peter Rivalry. She's like, please have it. But Nicole, you said something that just struck like a memory from the beginning of this book when they are, after the dinner that they had with Ryan and Fabian, the double date, where he says, do you think we look as in love with them? And Ilya says, we've gotten so good at hiding it. Mm-hmm. And to your point, they just want to live out loud. They've gotten so good at hiding this relationship, this love, you know, they can't even like really look at each other the way they would want to. Mm-hmm. And they just want to do that. That is what this moment is. It's an opportunity to do that. The wedding they could care less about. It's all about the marriage. It's all about them actually being together. The wedding is just, they get to do that. They get to do it with their friends and family. And that's it. Like, that's literally all it is.
Like, and honestly, that means more than them spending the millions they both have collectively to, like, have this elaborately done wedding. Like, that would be so anti them. Like, and that's what, to me, makes it even more special and beautiful. It's like, they kind of were like, oh, right, there are these wedding traditions that happen that we don't know about, we didn't think about. Because at the core of what this whole thing was. It's just the love they have for each other. And
Yes.
I want more people to think about this.
Yes.
Stop trying to get Jacob to make this like the wedding of a century. That's
like
not
a wedding
the
planner.
purpose of this.
Paris in the springtime. No, it's not that.
Ugh.
And we get one of the best moments before they get married, and that's the scene with David and Ilya.
Oh my God, yes. I'm so glad
And Shane is with Yuna, and David comes to be in Ilya's groom suite. And David says, "We can only have one child," David said quietly. "We thought about adopting, but we decided in the end to just focus on making Shane the best person we could. I think we did an okay job of it." Ilya smiled at the understatement. "We couldn't be prouder of the man he's become," David continued. "I don't have any Stanley Cup rings, but I have Shane." Ilya swallowed. "I'll take care of him." David smiled up at him. "I know." He finished the first cuff, then took Ilya's right hand and got to work on the cufflink. "What I'm trying to say, and Yuna's always been the better speaker, is I've always felt so lucky to have a son as wonderful as Shane that I never expected to be blessed with a second one." Oh, David's hand in Ilya's shirt cuff turned blurry. Ilya blinked rapidly, refusing to cry before the wedding even started. David glanced up from his work, and Ilya could see the tears in his eyes, too. What a beautiful moment that I can't wait to see acted on screen. That moment that he's thinking that David is saying, "I'm giving my son away to you. I'm giving my son to you to take care of." And Ilya takes that very serious, like, "I'll take care of him." He's like, "No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, never could imagine I would be so lucky to have another son and to love him as much and to see him and to acknowledge him as that." Knowing how Ilya's relationship was with his biological father. What?
I know. That was the moment I wanted to bring up in our number 3, and I was like, no, we have to wait for the wedding because honestly, like, that is
beautiful.
The point where he makes about like we always wanted more children. We just unfortunately were not dealt that hand as parents. So we tried to do the best we could with Shane. And so who would have known that lo and behold, 20 something years later, we would find someone who equally made us proud to be parents as we were with Shane.
Yeah.
And I think that was like part of my point around how healing of a relationship this was for David and Yuna as it was for Ilya, is that they did get that chance to have the second child that they had always been trying to have. And they also gave Ilya the chance to have and be a child in a way that he never got to be. And it was just so nice that in this moment, and it's so sweet because when they flipped to Shane and Yuna scene, and Shane asks, like, "Where's Dad?" And he's like, "Oh, he's with Ilya. It's just an excuse for them to hang out." And I just love the fact that, like, there's this unspokenness about that, like, and we saw it kind of when Yuna and Shane left in season 1 at the dinner table to go out, and they left Ilya and David, that, like, Ilya and David do kind of have this like unspoken bond, and the reason why it's so important is because of what you said, the relationship we've seen Ilya had with his father, and just with the men in his life at that point, his brother too. And so to see that both Shane and David are these loving, kind, and considerate people that have, I think, rewired Ilya in that way, that like that scene, it's very similar. I don't know. It's like,
it's so good. That's a great point point you made, though, because we've always talked about how we feel Ilya is very comfortable with females, feminine energy, because there's a sense of like comfort and trust there that he doesn't have for men. And like with David has really like stepped in and taken that spot of like surrogate father to a degree. And Ilya, that whole relationship between David and Ilya, and even Yuna to a degree leading up to this wedding, he finally feels cemented in their family unit. Like truly, I am a son to him. Like, it's so beautiful. It's so like beautiful.
Oh, it's so nice. Like, he's just in there fixing his cufflinks, and it's like, doesn't he
he gives him something, right? Does he give him? He gives him the cufflinks.
No, do you know what we're thinking about that fanfic?
He didn't get him left wing. Oh, we thinking about. Oh, shit.
You know what we're thinking about? We're thinking about courage.
Courage. Girl, it's merged.
He gives him the maple leaf thing. Oh my god, I'm so dead. Because you heard me. I almost started saying that. I was like, wait. No. That was chapter 9 of like, oops. Oh my god. Okay, no. Well, fanfic is fanficking. So anyway, but
well, Nicole, on that note, who do you have for your honorable mention? Damn.
I know. Okay. Well, my honorable mention, you kind of mentioned it in part of what we were just talking about, but it is the Fabian concert, which I saw someone say this on Threads, I think, and it was like, I cannot wait to see what Fabian was doing up on that stage to have these grown men losing their ever-loving minds.
I don't know, but I'll be there with pen and pad taking notes. I want to take some notes.
Whoever the actor's going to be, good luck. Because I have the highest of expectations. You had these men out here losing their minds in the stands or whatever.
They hyped it up. Like, didn't Fabian say at one point, they asked, was it going to be a straight club or a queer club? And he's like, by the time I finish, it'll be queer.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, Fabian. I want to see it.
He had people in relationships questioning everything. Like, they really just had never been intimate.
Everybody in the books that I read in the series like, Fabian is beautiful.
No, I'm beautiful. I cannot wait for this. I mean, even Ilya says to Ryan, it must feel powerful knowing everyone in the room wants your boyfriend. I'm like, babe, I need to know the genre of music. I need to know what this man was doing. I cannot wait.
Because wasn't he like playing a bunch of instruments too? Like, he's playing cello or fiddle or something, like hanging suspended from the air. Child, what's going on?
I'm imagining, so every time I read this scene, I'm always imagining that they're at like the 9:30 Club, which if you live in the DMV of Baltimore, it's like, you know what we're talking about. It's like,
same. And so I was trying to figure out the rigging of like you being suspended and all that. I'm like, okay, Fabian. Budget. Give me budget.
Listen, I said they paid money for this concert. But anyway, I digress. That's not why I chose this as my honorable mention. Okay, to be serious, let me look at my notes because I actually am like, why did I choose this? Oh, right. Okay, so this concert, the reason why it's so good, and I really like how Rachel laid this out, is this is like the first time it kind of lays out the tension of what we're about to see for the next like 400 pages. Because up until this point, we've heard little bits and pieces about how hard it is to be in a relationship that is a secret for so long at this point for Shane and Ilya. But there's been nothing that's been like, this is my breaking point. And it's with this scene where we start with Ilya's point of view, and he is just like, and it is very sweet how they talk about like he's admiring Shane and looking at him, and it's just like he finds, everyone's looking at Fabian, but he finds Shane to be the most beautiful man in the room, and all he wants to do is touch him. So he like touches his elbow and brushes it, and then Shane kind of jumps a little bit, and it's like, what? And in a way that brings out Ilya's kind of like biggest insecurity with them at that point, which is like, I am usually the man who is at parties or at situations like this where I am finding someone to hook up with. I'm flirting. I'm charming. This is like my show. Like I know how to work these kinds of rooms. And here I am, the one person that I want to do this with, I can't touch. Yes. And to the point where in the book, he's like, telling Shane, well, mentally, we're hearing him say, like, I'm dying. I just, like, want to touch you. I want you to take me up on the stage, kiss me, do whatever. Like, I can't do this anymore. And instead of obviously voicing all of this, he just looks at Shane and it's like, nothing. Like, it's okay. And that was just, like, so devastating to read. Yes. But it became even more devastating where then we switched to Shane's point of view, and you see that he's dying and as desperate as Ilya is. And it goes back to what we talked about before about sacrifice, where he's just like, okay, I'm doing this for the greater good of us. Like, we have to do this kind of thing. But
it
melts
true.
Me, but it melts my heart when he he sees Ilya and he could tell that something's off. He can tell that he's pained, he's sad.
Yeah.
And so he extends an olive branch in the way of
Yes.
like just putting his hand on his back and does a little heart with his finger. And it's like when Shane has information, he acts. Okay.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
And that's what this scene told me, is that like obviously he didn't know the full weight of what Ilya was thinking, but he could see that Ilya was not okay. And this was his way. And he's not okay.
He's not okay. But he recognized Ilya's need and knew what would help remedy that, if only a little bit. And that's who Shane is, to be honest. Like, that's who he is.
Period.
So much through this book. Like, when he asked Ilya, was he okay? And Ilya had been going through a depressive episode for a few days. Like, this is just who Shane is. And in that moment, he just... he let go of his fear, which Shane does time and time again. He let go of his fear of being seen or discovered in a very public place. And I think it's not talked about enough the way that Shane like bends. Like, he went on a double date with Ilya and Fabian and Ryan. Like, he is in the club, in a queer club potentially, watching a Fabian show, rubbing hearts on Ilya's back. Like, he does bend.
He bends, and he's so incredibly brave, because even in the book he says like he decided to act before he knows himself. So he's like, I decided to act before he was chewing his head to be like, I can't act.
Yes.
Or I'll won't say anything. But
we love a self-aware man.
I put in my book IKTR. I know that's right.
What part?
Is when he said, basically it's switching to Shane's point of view, and he says, but fuck, Ilya looked hot tonight. That tight pink t-shirt was just barely holding itself together, stretched tight across Ilya's muscular chest and shoulders. That fucking loon tattoo staring Shane in the face, practically a brand on Ilya's skin. Mine, Shane thought. The world doesn't, but I know that's right. Because here's the thing. You wouldn't be able to tell me a damn thing if a man or anybody I was with had a tattoo that was representative of like the place that I introduced them to. And I just cannot. It reminded me, because I keep forgetting. It reminded me, we're going to get that in season 2. We are going to see Ilya with that freaking loon tattoo. And I cannot freaking wait.
I'm curious how big it's going to be. I'm curious how big it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be pretty substantial. Girl, like, you know what?
Die.
We're both gonna die, but you know what? You're right, because you could not tell me a goddamn thing. You really couldn't. A man that looked like that too. Like,
hello. I look like me. Not me. I'm saying if I'm Shane Hollander. I look like Shane Hollander.
I look like Shane Hollander.
He looks like Ilya Rozanoff, and he has a tattoo. I'm the best hockey player. He's also up there.
Oof.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of Shane's humble, let's just say that.
He is.
But
but they both want to tell people.
That's what I was going to say. I like the fact that she included both points of view. And sometimes later in the book, I wish she did that too. Because what makes this scene so good is that it does lay out their points of view and their thinking on things in a way that like there are other passages in the book that I wish we would have gotten that. Because sometimes it's very Ilya focused, and it's like, well, if you just read this scene and it was just Ilya, the scene would not hit the same. It would be like, dang, Shane, you don't see Ilya's dying. Or like, oh, just like touch him, just do something. And then it's like, wait, Shane literally says he wondered if Ilya was as horny as he was at that moment. Like, that's on the page.
That's on the page. And you know what? She does, to your point, she does do it a lot in the beginning of the book. And she does kind of lose it somewhere where there's no longer dual perspectives. Because, like, I remember, like, starting to annotate this. And from the very beginning, like, first couple of pages, Shane is just like, God, I just want to tell the world about this man. I just want to tell the world that I love him. This has never not been a thought that's been omnipresent in his mind. It has been. No. He's just dealing with it in a different way than Ilya is. Like,
correct.
He
even at the beginning.
Even at the beginning. At the very beginning. And I'm just like... They are both feeling the same way, which drives me crazy because the lack of communication. We are both frustrated and upset about the same things, and we won't talk about it. We won't commiserate with each other. We're going.
That's what I'm saying, and that's the thing with the long game. And like, I saw this conversation happening on Threads recently, and we've kind of talked about it outside of the podcast. But something happened, and this is I'm so glad that Jacob is exploring or showing us when Shane finally comes out to his team, because something happened in between that and then when we get here. Because when you read My Dinner with Hayden, it's actually interesting because the frustration is sitting with Shane. Shane is the one at the end of My Dinner with Hayden where he's like, I hate this. I can't do this. Why can't we be out and be together? Like, this is like, I'm in such pain because of this. And then Ilya's the one who's like, well, you know, I'll do whatever you want. If you want to come out, I'll come out right now. If you want to not come out, I'll do that. If you won't lose me, I will fake my death and we'll go live in the mountains and like whatever. Like, I'll do whatever you want to do.
Right.
And so it's just interesting that when we get to this book, it's kind of opposite at some point. Like the desire is still there for Shane to be out, but there's a fear there that is not explained. And so I really do hope that they, I guess, dive into that more, because it's not adding.
And I mean, it's kind of annoying. Like, we don't see what happens in the interim. There's like a whole block of time that we don't see from the end of Peter Rivalry, epilogue to the beginning of the long game. It's like, we need to see that. And I hope Jacob delves into all of that, because we need to see those 3 years. We need to. He's the king of montages. Give us a montage.
Give me a montage.
I'll take it.
I will sit. Look, the way you do these montages, I'll watch a 10-minute montage, Jacob. Just give it to me.
Nicole's going to be up at 6 a.m. before work. Like, girl, I'll watch this montage.
I'll watch a whole episode of montages from Jacob if I have to.
100%, because he is the master of them. But
he is. Okay.
Yeah. We did it, y'all. This is a good list. I love this
y'all.
list.
I already know I'm saying this. We're not going to cut a lot of this episode. This is going to be a longer one. And it was a great list. I'm very excited to dive in deeper into the long game. Like, this was the fact that we just did 2 hours and this was just like the surface of what we want to talk about.
Part freaking 1, you guys. There are still 2 more parts to come.
Is crazy. And I just like, the book, you know, there's a lot of obviously criticisms or just like things that I wish we would have gotten more of. But in general, I always have a blast revisiting this book.
We love
It's always a good time for me.
Love the book.
It's always a good time for me.
It's always a good time. Love the book. Love the writing. So interested to hear what your guys' top 5 moments are. I'm sure you guys will let us know very loudly in the comments. We are excited to read them and respond to you guys. But y'all, we've been here for 2 hours, so we're going to go. Nicole, any final words before we leave?
Girl, is there time? I think we should just say bye.
Bye.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.